Hello YouTube. In today's video we're going to be using this DJI Phantom 4 Pro as the model for the topic of this video. So today we're going to be talking about customizing and marking a drone with your FAA ID using a label machine. As you can see, we already have a FAA label. The label was made using our portable label machine and it was placed before the start of this video. It's more than just placing a label on your drone. It's also about making it look good. So what you'll need is a portable label maker, which you can pick up at almost any office supply store or maybe some large department stores. This one here is by Brother. You'll want to use a X-Acto knife or maybe a razor blade will work just fine as well. This label maker that we're using, it's by Brother. It's pretty easy to use. Just have your on button, turn it off as well. Have your standard keys. You can use numbers, you can use capitals, change the font size, and it works on 6 AA batteries, I believe. Anyways, it's pretty easy to use. Just type in what you want to print out, hit the print button, and your label prints out in the rear. You hit the cut button to remove your label. And that's where the label comes out. And there's your label. Very simple, nice and clean. And that's what we have on our drone already. Now a quick word on applying labels or decals or even using permanent marker on the drone body. Before you do that, you want to make sure that the surface that you're putting it on is clean. And one of the best ways to do that is to use rubbing alcohol and maybe a cotton ball or even a Q-tip. I actually like to use these little wipes that you can get at a pharmacy. They're individual packets, and you can throw a few of those into your drone bag or case and take them wherever you go in case you ever need to clean something on the drone. Maybe some grease, maybe you have a little accident and the propeller digs into the grass and you have a grass stain. That cleans it very well. So cleanliness. Something else to consider is cleaning your fingertips with the same alcohol that you use to clean the drone. That way the oil on your fingers doesn't get on the decal. Now here we are trying to take off the backing of the label. If you're having a little trouble getting it started, you might even want to use the X-Acto knife to maybe separate the backing from the decal itself. But once you do get it separated, you want to try to avoid as much as possible touching the back of the decal. Now once you have good separation, do not completely remove the backing because the backing can be used to handle the decal. When centering the label, we're going to use the middle letter or 2 middle letters to center the point. And also we want to keep it perpendicular. There's an example of the finished side, unfinished side. And the way we achieve that clean look is by running our X-Acto knife or razor blade along the groove, the before, with our X-Acto knife, and we just cut through the groove. And now we have to remove the excess. The removing of the excess piece can be started with or even completely done with the X-Acto knife. And then you can just pull it off. And now you have a nice clean edge that butts up against the groove. And it's on both sides. Now besides printing out labels, you can actually expel the label without any printed letters and use it for design purposes, which we are going to do now. We erase the word that was there before because it keeps the less memory. We hit the space bar a few times, estimating how much label we're going to use. And we hit the print button and it'll expel a blank label basically, and we're going to use that to put it on the drone. And there's our blank label that matches our FAA label. Now the reason I cut the label at the groove is because I didn't want to maneuver around this hole where the lights are, but you can continue the label on if you want to. You can go ahead and continue on and add to the label at the same direction or change the direction and make a different design. It's up to you. but it was just my opinion that it was easier to stop at the groove than to try to maneuver through this opening. Now if you printed out your blank label and it was too long, of course you can trim it to not waste. You can use your X-Acto knife and just trim it on top of the wood box or any wood surface that protects the blade. I've opted to position the blank label above the FAA label. Again, we want to center it on the arm, and as we push it down to the sides, we do not want to completely put it around, that way we'll have a lifting point. We want to go just past the groove and press it down on both sides. Right there, just past the groove, and then we can pass our X-Acto knife. And that's what it'll look like. Clean lines both sides. Now you might be saying that this looks like the DJI design with the gold ribbons, but in this case, the ribbon includes our FAA ID. Now, here we have our controller. Now, while most people don't neglect their controller, and there is no requirement to mark your FAA ID on the controller, I say, why stop the design process there? You can use the same labels or decals on the controller that you've used on the drone, whether for security purposes or just to personalize it. You'll want to avoid placing labels or decals on the top of the controller where your hands will be, because eventually they will rub off. I think a more visible place and out of the way would be the tablet or phone holder. Here we've already started applying one of the labels. We have it flush against the edge with excess going around to the back, which we will trim and fold it under. Once it's folded under, you can't see it, so it doesn't matter if it was a clean cut or not. This is how it looks like from the top or the normal view. And there's both stripes. And the underside, which will not be seen under normal circumstances. And it looks really sharp when it's closed. Almost looks like it was there all the time. And now we're in compliance with the FAA with our required ID on the drone, which we've turned into a design with the same matching design on the controller. You can go ahead and continue the same ribbon design on the other 3 arms. And the nice thing is, when the drone is in the box or bag, you can still see the number without having to remove the drone from the bag. I think the placement of the FAA ID in this manner serves for a privacy purpose as well, as you cannot see the complete ID from just seeing one side of the drone. You would have to see both sides to see the complete number. Anyways, thanks for watching, and let me know if you enjoyed the video.